Hello again. So the next video that is going to be with section 7 is evaluating algebraic expressions. And I'm doing this slightly out of order than what's on the calendar for very good reason, because I think that the algebraic expression simplifying will lead us nicely into algebra. So I want to make sure that we do it in an order that flows. So we just covered order of operations, or PEMDAS. This is going to directly come from PEMDAS and then lead us into simplifying. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between an algebraic expression versus an algebraic equation. And it really all comes from the root of the word, okay? Look at the root of the word equation, okay? Equate is in there, which is equal. So algebraic equations fundamentally contain equal signs, okay? That's a visual way to distinguish, which means expressions do not contain equal signs. All right? So visually, this is the huge difference. This is how you're going to tell one from the other. But not only that, the vocabulary in what they can ask you to do with them is also different. Algebraic expressions can be evaluated or simplified. And that's all you can do with them, okay? They're either going to ask you evaluate this expression or simplify this expression. Algebraic equations can be solved. And this is where you're going to get answers like x equals, okay, or y equals. You don't want to mix these up, all right, because these go with each other, okay? Equations can be solved, expressions can either be evaluated or simplified. Since we're talking about evaluating, let's also pull apart that word. Look at the inner word of evaluating, okay? The word value is in here. So that means that we're going to eventually get a number, okay? So we're going to plug in values and get a valued answer, okay? So this is what it means to evaluate. Now, I've said this in quite a few videos already, but this is going to be our mantra for the semester. Every time you plug in values, we plug in with parentheses. Trust me, that's going to make your life simpler and help you get the right answer. So let's take a look at the expression x squared minus 2xy plus y squared, and we're being asked to evaluate when x equals -3 and y equals 2. Remember what evaluate means. This is asking us to plug in -3 for x and 2 for y with parentheses and then work it out. So this is going to be -3 in parentheses squared minus 2 parentheses -3 and then parentheses 2 for the x and the y, and then plus 2 squared. Yes, it's going to look like a lot of parentheses at first. Once you get really comfortable with this, you'll know when you need them and when you might not need them. But it's especially important here because you need to make sure that it's this entire quantity squared, because otherwise you're going to get the wrong answer in your calculator, as we mentioned in a previous video with negatives. And here you have to remind yourself that it's multiplication. If you didn't have parentheses there, you could easily miss that it's multiplication. So that's why we make sure we always plug in with parentheses. Now we're just following our order of operations to simplify. So I don't really have anything left in the parentheses to evaluate. So exponents are next. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. None of this is being evaluated yet. And then 2 squared is 4. Again, once you get really good at this, you can do multiple steps at the same time, okay? But it's totally fine to focus on one at a time. Then we do the multiplication here. This is going to be 9. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is plus 12. And then I do all the addition here. 9 plus 12 is 21. And then 21 plus 4 is 25. The parentheses were very important here. Next example. I want to take AD minus BC over A plus B, and I want to evaluate when A is negative 7, B is negative 3, C is negative 15, and D is negative 14. So I need to plug all of these values in and then calculate. Plug in with parentheses. This is going to be negative 7 in parentheses times negative 14 minus negative 3 in parentheses times negative 15 all over A, which is negative 7 in parentheses, plus B, which is negative 3 in parentheses. Now, these are rather large numbers. No one is saying that you have to do these in your head. The intermediate steps can be done on your calculator. So if you use your calculator to do 7 times 14, okay, I would feel more comfortable with that if it's going to help you get the right calculation. So this is going to give us 98 minus negative 3 times negative 15 is positive 45 over, now remember, I can do steps at the same time because this is viewed as a whole different part of the problem. So negative 7 and negative 3 is negative 10. Then I can do 98 minus 45. Again, use the aid of a calculator. This will be 53 over negative 10. And now this can't be simplified. 53 has nothing in common with 10, okay? They don't have anything that they're both divisible by. So if I can't simplify it, that's it, all right? Don't go to a decimal. We want to leave as a fraction, okay? This is called exact form, which means you leave it as a simplified fraction. You don't want to convert to a decimal, all right? Leave it as a fraction as much as you can. The last example that we're going to do for this video is a real life situation. Let's say you were looking for the volume of a box, okay? This is the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism, or in other words, a box. I don't expect you to know that, okay? But just know that this is a real life formula. It actually does something. Let's say that you wanted to find the volume of a box. So this is a word problem now. Find the volume of a box with a length of 12 feet a width of 4 feet, and a height of 6 feet. L, W, and H, they must stand for length, width, and height. So I know that L is 12 feet, W is 4 feet, and H is 6 feet. So I'm going to plug them in. This is going to be 12 feet, and I am going to put the units in, times 4 feet, times 6 feet. The reason why I'm putting the units in is because the units will matter in the final answer. This is feet times feet times feet, which will be feet cubed. You're talking about cubic feet for volume. Okay, so that should make sense. The rest of the numbers you can multiply. You can use your calculator to help. This answer should be 288 feet cubed, or cubic feet, depending on how you want to write that. But when it comes to a word problem, remember I said in a previous video, words answer words, all right? So at the very least, you have to have units on your answer. So this is what it means to evaluate an algebraic expression. You're plugging values in and you are calculating the answer. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.